This short video demonstrates some of the basic features offered by the Pan-European Mobile Emergency Application Architecture, Pemea. Pemea enables your smart device to provide information about your location and you to nearby emergency services so that you can get help quickly in times of trouble. Pemea provides this capability anywhere in Europe where the emergency center is Pemea enabled. Pemea defines an architecture that specifies protocols, message exchanges, and system behaviors. Pemea defines 5 functional entities: the application or app running on the smart device, the application provider, AP, that links the app to the Pemea network, the PSAP service provider, PSP, that insulates the PSAP from the Pemea network and routes messages not meant for the local PSAP, the PSAP that answers emergency calls and uses the provided information to ensure that the right help arrives in the right place quickly, the aggregating service provider, ASP, that provides an interconnection function between PSPs across Europe. In this demonstration, the user makes a 112 call and the application sends the location and a call indicator to the AP. The AP takes the user's location and combines it with information about the application provider, as well as a reference to other information about the caller. This combined information is assembled into a Pemea message called the Emergency Data Send, or EDS message. Once the AP has assembled the EDS message, it sends it to the local PSAP. The PSP uses the location information provided in EDS and determines that the information should go to the local PSAP. The PSAP uses the reference to the user data received in the EDS to request information about the caller from the AP. This allows the PSAP to know who they're talking to and other information about the caller, such as what languages they speak. In this demonstration, the user lives in Madrid and their application provider is also based in Madrid. So when the user makes a 112 call, the application sends the location and a call indicator to the AP based in Madrid. As before, the AP constructs the EDS with the location, AP information, and caller information reference and sends it to the Madrid PSP. The Madrid PSP determines that the user is in Madrid and that the EDS information should go to the Madrid PSAP. The Madrid PSAP receives the EDS information from the PSP and requests user information and updated location information from the AP. The PSAP may request further location updates any time during the call. As long as the user is in the call, all location updates will go to the original PSAP, even if the user moves outside the PSAP service area. Prior to the user making the call, no PSAP has any information about the user or the user's location. Once the call arrives at the PSAP, the call taker is able to get the location information and zoom in on a map to the exact location of the caller. The call taker is also able to see other information about the user too, such as their name, age, and gender. This information is retrieved from the AP using the user information reference included in the EDS. Access to this information is highly restricted, so only a Pemea registered PSAP can access it. Access to other information about the user, including their address, other contact details, and contacts such as next of kin, can also be viewed by the call taker if available from the AP. The EDS also contains information about the application provider. This is important to the PSAP in case anything goes wrong. The call taker is able to see all information relating to the AP, including a 24/7 contact number in case of emergencies. Pemea even has support for multiple caller IDs. This allows it to support things like multiple SIM devices or even applications like Skype and WhatsApp in the future. The call taker can see these and even use them if the call taker equipment is capable of doing so. We can see that as long as the user is in the call, they can move outside the PSAP service area and the updated location will still go to the original PSAP. The PSAP call taker is able to see where the caller was and where they have moved to. Once help has arrived, the user is able to end the call. Once the user ends the call taker can no longer access the user's location or personal information. In this demonstration, the user, normally based in Madrid, takes a trip to Murcia and gets into trouble. The user's application provider is also based in Madrid, so when the user makes a 112 call, the application sends the location and a call indicator to the AP based in Madrid. The AP creates an EDS message containing the location information, AP information, and a reference to the user information, and sends the EDS to the Madrid PSP. The Madrid PSP uses the location information in the EDS to determine that the user is in Murcia, and so the EDS must go to the Murcia PSP and not the Madrid PSAP. The Murcia PSP forwards the EDS to the Murcia PSAP. The Murcia PSP is then able to request user information and updated location information from the AP in Madrid to display to the PSAP call taker. When the call arrives at the Murcia PSAP on the right-hand side of the screen, the mobile number of the caller appears in a list to the call taker, allowing them to access the information available in the EDS. This same information is not available in the Madrid PSAP on the left-hand side of the screen because the EDS was not sent to the Madrid PSAP because the Pemea network determined that the user was in Murcia and so the information was needed there. As with the previous example, the Murcia PSAP call taker now has access to the location information, showing exactly where the user is, who their application provider is, and information about the user, including their name and people to contact in case of an emergency. And, as before, when the call is closed by the user at the application, the PSAP can no longer access the caller's private or location information. Our friend from Madrid is quite the jet-setter, and today she has travelled to Ljubljana in beautiful Slovenia. She seems to be a little accident-prone though, and has once again gotten herself into trouble. But never fear, she has her Pemea-enabled 112 emergency application on her smartphone, so help can arrive quickly. The application gets the location and sends it to the AP in Madrid, and as before, the AP creates an EDS message with the location and other information and sends it to the Madrid PSP. The Madrid PSP knows that the location of the user is not in Madrid, but cannot make a direct connection to Ljubljana either, so it treats the Murcia PSP as a gateway, aggregating service provider, or ASP, to get the EDS to the correct PSAP. The Murcia PSP receives the EDS from the Madrid PSP and uses the location to determine that the user is in Ljubljana and forwards the EDS to the Ljubljana PSP. The Slovenian PSP determines that the data is for the Ljubljana PSAP and sends the EDS there. The call is answered by the PSAP in Ljubljana, where the caller location and information is provided thanks to the Pemea network. The caller is provided help and is able to end the call.